So Q&A time. So I saw a question come in. So while you guys think of any questions, I will, yeah, you guys get a preview of what happens next in a sec. All right, so let's see what question we have that came in. Okay, Sarah asks, I've been self-employed for 5 years and would like to know how I position this on my resume. So being self-employed is great. So we actually work with a lot of people who are self-employed and they're eventually able to get it. So some people are actually self-employed longer. But again, think about remember on the resume, we talked about less about the brand name. So self-employed is basically you're working for yourself and you don't have a brand name. So you're pretty much falling into that bucket. So Tara, what you want to think about is, what did you do during those 5 years? It doesn't matter if you're self-employed, but what did you actually do? So for example, how do you demonstrate your ability to solve problems? How do you think about working with clients? So I'm assuming you're self-employed, so you definitely were able to get customers and clients in some part. And then third, were you able to lead teams? Even if it's teams of contractors, talk about those same skills and bring those responsibilities out when it comes to being able to do that. And we have a lot of self-employed people as well, and they're self-employed clients that we work with. And that's pretty much how we're able to help them break into consulting, is they need to demonstrate those 4 core values. That one, again, problem solving, that they can solve problems. Second, they can work with clients / teams. 3, they can lead. And then 4th, that they're a good cultural fit. Hopefully I answered your question there. Let me know. All right, another question. What are the pros and cons between working from MBB and working at a boutique consulting firm? Oh, great question, man. You're just killing it with these questions today. All right, so the pro, I'll go ahead and tell you the pro of the MBBs, and then I'll tell you the cons of the MBBs, and then I'll talk about the boutique consulting firms. So the one thing you'll notice is that there's a lot of people who, you're gonna actually learn about this later on in the presentation, a lot of people who actually choose to work at boutique consulting firms, even though they have a McKinsey or Bain or a BCG offer. So a lot of people think that consulting, you have to work at a McKinsey, Bain, BCG. You don't, there's something magical about it. So a couple things here is where MBB comes into play. So I think there's 4 things that MBB does really well. McKinsey, Bain, BCG do really well. One, they're a brand presence. When you have a Bain, a McKinsey, BCG, it really stands out on your application for any other future job you might have. Second is that because they're the biggest consulting firms, they also come with a huge alumni network. So it's similar to going to, let's say, a Columbia for your PhD versus, let's say, going to a Virginia Tech for your PhD. The alumni size is different. So you get a lot of connections to different alums. 3, MBB on average tends to work with a lot more clients just by the sheer size. Again, it's all correlated. So there's a lot more selection of projects that you can do. So you aren't pigeonholed. So for example, if you're working for a more boutique firm, like let's say Oliver Wyman, you might be doing financial services for a lot because that's what they specialize in. But for a McKinsey, Bain, BCG, you might do financial services and then switch over to retail and then switch over to oil and gas. So there's a lot more variety into what you're being able to do. And then 4th, so just recap here, you already have the brand name, you have the variety of projects, you have the fact that you are able to have this variety of people just because you're at these top firms. And then finally, the 4th advantage that comes from working at MBB is that there's a lot more clarity into your career path. So boutique, you have to really do a diligence on each one, because when people say boutique consulting firm, it could mean like a lot, right? So what's to stop my neighbor from starting a consulting firm and saying it's a boutique? So you know, for MBB, you know exactly what you're getting when you're applying. So those are the advantages of an MBB. But there's several cons as well when it comes to working at MBB. One is if you like a certain industry, for example, a lot of our clients, when they get dual offers, so 1 or more offers from either, let's say, a life science firm and a consulting firm, what they end up doing, or a McKinsey, Bain, BCG, a lot of them actually choose the life sciences because they know that they want a career in life sciences. So one of the cons of MBB is in the beginning, you're going to be a generalist. Before you reach the manager, you're going to be pretty much put on a bunch of projects that you might or might not like. Second is MBB, Bain being the lesser exception here, is that there's a lot of travel that goes on. So you're going to be traveling a lot more than a lot of the boutique consulting firms, which work very locally. And then the other con of working at MBB is that because it's such a big firm, you don't get to know everyone as closely as you would. And this is a huge con if you're trying to build a mentorship network and you want to build it organically. And then I was pretty lucky that I knew who I wanted to meet in the firm, so I was able to do it. So everything that's a con and a pro will switch for a boutique. So in a boutique, the best thing why people love it is that boutiques usually specialize in a certain field. So if you want to do, let's say, life sciences, you know that a LEK or a Simon Kucher will get you there. Second is that because they're smaller, you get to know them a lot more intimate. So you get to know everyone who works in the firm. And if this is huge for you to have that culture and that community, they're definitely going to be there. And just one thing to realize is that between all the consulting firms, that when you enter at an entry level position, the skills that you learn are going to be very similar, because you're still doing the problem solving, you're still doing the structuring of the problems, you're still being mentored so that you can help the client, working with clients and so forth. And as a result, you still get those in both. And if anything, at a boutique consulting firm, you get that more, because at an MBB, there's just so many levels of hierarchy. But at a boutique consulting firm, a lot of my friends, a lot of our clients actually get to work with clients directly because there's less people. So you get to have what are called step-up opportunities, which means you get to step up to a higher role. So a lot of people choose boutique firms because of that. In fact, if you're thinking purely, depends on your end goal. If your goal is to leverage a big brand name, then a McKinsey, Bain, BCG would be better. But if you're just trying to get the skills in order to help you go somewhere else, then it would be great. But if you know, for example, you're going to go in life sciences, it doesn't matter if you're going from McKinsey, Bain, BCG. But if you work at an LEK, any of the life science firms, OC&C and so forth, and you're trying to go into, or Charles River Associates, if you're trying to go into a director role, let's say at a life science firm, both get you there. So that's why I would think about it from a MBB versus boutique. All right, so since you asked right away, yeah, MBB depends. So I'll ask the follow-up question, and Gloria, I will answer your question. So are MBB better than boutiques for exit opportunities? MBBs will have more, a variety of exit opportunities. So the short answer is yes. Is it better? Better is very subjective. So again, imagine someone who's a generalist at a Bain versus someone who's working in LEK in the life science and healthcare practice, and then you're both applying for, let's say, a position at Roche. You're just think about who has the advantage there, who has the experience. So more, but more doesn't always mean better. Depends on the firm. All right, Gloria asked a question there. In the cover letter, if I have many internship experiences as well as student organization experiences, should I use more stories from my previous internship? Okay, so one thing I want you guys to think about is, and this is going to come up a lot, is I want you guys to think about strategy, 1, and 2, tactics. So strategy is what you're trying to accomplish, why you're trying to accomplish, and tactics is how you get there. So in the cover letter, think about what is the experience you're trying to communicate to people. So if it's your problem solving, if the biggest problem you solve was for a student organization and you feel like that's the result of it, you use the student organization. But if the biggest problem you ever solved and it shows your problem solving skills is an internship, then use the internship. So it's not an either or, it's more about what best demonstrates it. For example, on my cover letter, I use no internships, but for some of our clients, they use all internships. But it really depends on what best demonstrates the value. So don't limit yourself. So basically don't cut yourself off before you have a chance to prove it. So think about what the value is. If it's problem solving, where do you have the most problem solving skills? If it's leadership, where do you have the most leadership, and so forth. So Laura, let me know if I didn't answer your question. Awesome, great questions, guys. All right, so let me know if there's any more questions on the cover letter or anything up to this point that we've covered so far. Oh, awesome. All right, Kevin, I'm assuming I answered your question too, so you didn't ask a follow-up. So great questions so far, guys. Again, no questions. I see this group is more of a chat group, so that's totally fine. Just know you guys can also, during the Q&A, unmute yourselves and participate as well, so it's all good. Oh, got a chat coming in. Let's see what's happening. Awesome. All right, great.